Hello, chat. I thought I would go ahead and start doing some devlogs for this game I am making. And I'm pretty proud of where I'm at right now, so I thought start off the first devlog. And I'll just say what I've been doing. So, the first thing that I wanted to get down really well, and the thing that I was kind of the most concerned about, was having a essentially a widget or a game that is interactable on a computer screen inside of a game world. And I've seen some other games do this. And then moreover, having the mouse be on the screen in the game world instead of being actually the mouse from my hardware. So that is what I tried to get working first. So I'll just show that here. So the reason I'm kind of playing it in viewport right now is because it runs a little bit better in viewport. Um, yeah. Um, the idea behind this is there's a scene capture 2D, which is capturing a widget, which is actually hidden behind the screen here, and that scene capture is casting that capture to a render target in the project files, which I'll show here real quick. Um, to this render target, which is essentially, it's very similar to just like a texture, except it's actively receiving data from the scene capture in the scene, which the scene capture looks like this. It's literally just a camera here. And it's capturing a widget, casting it to a render target. That render target texture-esque file is then being used as a material on the computer. And so I'll show that right here. The computer's screen is using a material instance called LCD screen, which comes from this material here, which is this is just the render target, and then all this other fancy stuff pretty much just serves to give it this cool RGB style, which I have enlarged it, because if it was the actual pixel size that I want for the screen, you actually just wouldn't be able to see the RGB stuff at all. So I enlarged the RGB pixels. You can kind of see how they don't align with the individual pixels in the image. We'll do some testing, with audiences. We'll see if that looks weird or if I should just, shrink the RGB pixels down again. Yeah, this is what's being casted here. And then when I play it, you can notice this is a button in the widget. It detects hovering and it detects clicks. How is this possible? It's because right behind the screen texture, is the actual widget itself right here. You can see it. So this is not a part of the screen texture. It is its own widget sitting behind the screen, and that is what this camera is capturing. The camera is set to only capture the widget and nothing else. Why do I do this? Because to interact with a widget in the world, you need a widget interaction component, which is being cast from my screen, my camera pretty much right now. And yeah, so basically a cast is happening from the camera to where the mouse is on the screen, and then the widget is right behind the screen. So it acts as like a pointer, and so it's interacting with the pointer. This, like, how do you get the mouse to stay on the screen or inside the material? The mouse is a part of the widget, and I just set the mouse to move to where the pointer location is. So yeah, this is the little mouse widget there, and yeah, it works quite nice. You can move, you can click, and we're gonna have a whole operating system on here. This is just a test image that's here for now. So one thing I wanted to implement was, so you can see wherever the mouse goes, the camera slowly follows. The camera and the widget interaction component that is controlling the mouse are two separate things. They're not children of each other, so they can rotate independent of each other. Camera kind of just slowly follows it, which is nice. And then one thing I wanted to do was I want the camera to be able to look around the room behind him, right? In case something creepy happens, you could have a scary moment where there's a noise behind him and he looks back. He's like, what the hell? So I have that here where if you move your cursor enough off the screen, the camera will snap to this kind of first-person view, and you'll be able to look around and see what's going on. And from any angle you can go down back to the screen. Like that. Oh, and there we are. And so it's very nice. Let's say there's a creature that it sounds like something's dripping above you. You can just move the mouse up, and it will. You can look up. Maybe there's something creepy there. So I think that's going to be a fun little component to have here. And then something else that I wanted to do was I wanted to implement going from the player first person walking around his apartment to going to him sitting down and being in front of the computer, because those are gonna have two completely different controls. So I just made two pawns, and then I just possessed them differently. So I have a debug key here. This is me going to my boy walking around here. This is pretty much the default horror character that comes in the Unreal template. I haven't done anything to it. I don't know. I'm going to turn off this model, though. This model shouldn't be turned on. And then I'm probably going to turn off this UI here. I'm not going to limit the sprinting. I'm still iffy on if I want to do sprinting or not for walking around. I probably will, though. And then, yeah, so let's pretend that like there's a chair here and a desk here, and maybe I could click on the mouse and it will just bring me right back here. So if I have the mouse up here on the top right, and I transition over to my walk around character, and I'm here and it's very epic, and then if I press it to go back to the mouse or to the desk view, you can see that the camera still is looking over there, the mouse is still in the corner of the screen, it doesn't reset anything. However, if I am off screen and I'm looking up at the wall here, I go to the first person guy, and then I go back, it will reset the mouse back to the center, because I don't want it to be like, I don't want, let's say I'm over here and I'm messing around and I'm looking away, and then let's say I want to get up from the table. I don't want it to be, oh, that was an accident. I don't want it to be like, oh, okay, I finished doing what I'm doing, let me go back to the computer, and then when I sit down, the camera rotates back around to look at the ceiling again. Every time you sit down, it should look back at the computer. But yeah, as long as the mouse is still on screen, it will not reset it, and it will stay where it is. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've got here. I like how, yeah, if you just look at the screen here, I like how it, you can see the RGB values, you can see how it's reflective. You can see that right here where the screen is reflecting like the edges of the computer, and then you can see where that ends. So it's got like realistic reflections, it's got RGB value, it's very cool. The computer model I got from the interwebs, the Unreal store, but I'm going to make my own computer model eventually. I'm kind of saving that. There's going to be a huge portion of this game where I just do like a whole art push. But I'm kind of focusing on programming right now, and I'm doing a lot of writing the story and the gameplay loop, the player journey right now, because since it's a narrative game, there's a lot to plan out, and it's linear. There's a lot to plan out. I had to plan out literally every single moment that happens, kind of from a story perspective, and then from a game design perspective, what feels fun to figure out and be a detective on. The design doc right now I think is at like 30 pages, and then I have a separate document where it's pretty much going to be like a screenplay in a way, where it describes literally every moment of everything that happens. And so I'm kind of trying to figure out all that stuff before I get started on making any art, because I need to know what's going to be in the game before I start making the stuff that's going to be in the game. But yeah, I'm going to do more devlogs. I think what I'm going to work on next is probably exploring images, right? So how the game works is you're going to be playing the game. There's going to be documents. You're going to double click on them. It's going to open up an image, and then the player will have the ability to remember the image, like remember what was going on when they took that picture. And then that image will essentially increase to full screen, not full screen on the monitor here, but full screen in the entire game's viewport. The game will just become that image, and then you'll be able to do point and click style navigation as if you were in the photo, in the moment that the photo was taken. I think I'm probably going to focus on that next. And so it's probably what this button's going to do is I'm going to click it and then it will pop up a prototype. So yeah, that is all I got here. Oh, I've noticed, the UI for the sprint does not go away when I transition. This is interesting. I'll have to fix that. All right. See you guys next time in the next episode. Bye-bye.